Hello everyone, welcome back. In the previous session, we looked at different levels of routing. Now, let's look into how we can get hold of the route parameters in the component. Okay, for suppose when I click departments and enter department ID, okay, how can I get hold of this inside the component? Right now, the parameters is empty. I want to get hold of this particular parameter inside the component. Let's look at how we can do it. So it will be under departments and department ID and its own index file. Okay. Now, so under departments, okay, department ID and its own index. Okay. This is the department ID level component. Okay. Let me change it to department ID so that there will be no confusion. And even the course also, course ID. Okay. Now I am under department ID section. Okay. So right now, if you see this URL under departments, there is a department ID. I want to get this department ID and print it onto the component. Okay. In real-time scenario, we use this ID and we may be making a API call to get the department data or courses data. It depends. Okay. For that reason, we need to get hold of it. To get hold of it, first and foremost thing, we need to use the router. Use router. Okay, use router from next router. Okay, this router will have the control on the parameters. So this router dot query dot the parameter is under the name of department ID. So for that reason, we have to use department ID. Okay, and we have to keep this like this. Okay, this is a department ID. Okay, that we want to get hold of it under department ID component. Okay, now let's see. So if you see, there is a department ID and it is captured at the component level. Now if you change it to any number, okay, enter, it will get hold of it. Okay, this is how you can get hold of this particular department ID. Okay, now let's look at, so this is the department ID and let's go to courses and I'll say 321. Okay, now courses. Okay, now let's check how we can get hold of this one first, then we'll check how we can get hold of this one as well as this one. So let's start with course ID. Okay, to get hold of the course ID, okay, let me just go to the course ID index file. Okay, this one. Within this, again same thing, we need to import the router. Use router. Okay, and router dot query dot here course ID. Okay, why we are using course ID? Because this is the parameter. Okay, course within these brackets, whatever the parameter name is there, that is the parameter. Okay, now let's check under parameters. We'll say course ID value. Okay, now if you see the parameter course ID 321 is captured. Okay, now let's see within this course file itself, how can I get hold of the department also? Okay, now it is same and it is very simple and straightforward. Let's replicate the same and change it to department ID. Okay, it will get the department ID as well. Okay, let's just test this. Okay, now if you see department ID 1 to 3, courses ID 3 to 1, it is captured. Okay, now let's change this number from 999 department ID 111 course. Okay, now if you say department ID changed, course is changed. So this is how we can get hold of the route parameters in Next.js. Okay, for suppose if there is a scenario where I have these like these many number of parameters. Okay, I don't, if I know that there is only one parameter here under courses. Okay, like 111 is the only one parameter. Okay, for that scenario I added it like brackets and course ID. Okay, but if there is a scenario where we have like 999 and you don't know, it can be n number of parameters. How do we handle that specific scenario? Okay, for that scenario all we need to do is, it is very simple. So course ID is capable of getting hold of single course ID, right? Now if we rename this particular one, instead of course ID, 3 dots, okay, and I'm saying parameters. Okay, and this name can be anything. It's not go, it shouldn't be parameters or params. Okay, you can give anything here. Okay, in this we can give anything, it will be tied to that particular property, whatever the property that you gave. Okay, now since it is params, I can use params here. Okay, now when I use this params, anything beyond this particular URL, okay, will be captured. Now let's check. If you see under course ID 111, 222, 999, okay, all these parameters came as an array. Okay, I'm able to capture all these parameters. If you see, okay, even if I can add n number of parameters here, it will still capture. Okay, why it is captured? Because after courses, okay, after courses in the URL, after courses, what I am saying, just capture anything as a under inside params. Okay, for that we have to give 3 dots within the bracket, 3 dots and any name that you want to use. Okay, it is not mandatory to use a specific parameter name. You can use any name here. Okay, it will capture to that particular parameter name and you can directly use it here. Okay, this is how you can get hold of the single parameter or multiple parameters or n number of parameters like this in the Next.js component.